What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And in this video right now, what I want to talk to you about is how to find ambassadors for your clothing brand. I've touched on this subject in a bunch of different videos, but I felt that this topic was worth making a full video on. And the way that I want to start this video out is by explaining what the value of an ambassador is to your clothing brand. Because I don't think a lot of clothing brand owners really understand what an ambassador even means or why you should have ambassadors. And then the second part, I'll get into how exactly I believe you should go about finding ambassadors for your clothing brand. I think it's going to be a great video. Here it is. This video is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and the offer that I have for you with Design Crowd is probably one of the most underrated things about apparel success. Especially if you aren't a designer yourself. If you need designs made for your clothing brand, then I highly recommend that you check them out. They're a website that allows you to crowdsource designs from designers located all around the world, and I'm gonna pop up an image on the screen here of a design that I had made for my own clothing brand through Design Crowd. I absolutely love them, and I highly recommend you check out the offer that I have for you at designcrowd.com/apparel just to learn more, or you can use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, so I believe that most clothing brand owners using ambassadors really are using them for the wrong reasons. And at the end of the day, a lot of them don't really understand exactly what the whole purpose of having an ambassador really is in, say, 2020 moving forward with the way that e-commerce is going, social media is going. And I want to break down for you exactly why I use ambassadors for my clothing brand and how it's different from the traditional way of using ambassadors for your clothing brand. And then at the end of this, you can really decide if this is the way that you want to go about using them, or if you want to stick to the more traditional way. The more traditional way of using ambassadors is to create, say, a custom promo code or discount code that you give to an ambassador that you find on social media somewhere. And you say, we'll give you a 10% commission of all the sales that we track through this promo code that we've given you, this custom promo code that's specific to that sponsor. And although this sounds really good in theory, right? It sounds really good because you can imagine them making a whack load of sales for your clothing brand and it coming back to you and everybody's in a profit, everybody's winning. What ends up usually happening is you find ambassadors, they don't end up really making many sales for you at all. And you're just kind of sitting there with just an ambassador who has a custom promo code and nothing's really happening. And so the way that I use ambassadors for my clothing brand is I actually don't create custom promo codes at all. The point of using ambassadors for my clothing brand isn't for direct sales. So I'm not using ambassadors to actually market my clothing brand for me directly and to close sales for me. That's my job as a clothing brand owner, to get out there to expose my clothing brand to my audience as best as possible. And the reason why it's my job is because that's something that I have control over when it's my job. If I give it to other people to be marketing and selling my clothing brand for me, it's pretty unreliable to be hoping that some ambassador just makes all the sales for your clothing brand. And so at the end of the day, the reason why I'm using ambassadors for my clothing brand is really just to get content for social media, to get content for my website, and to have pictures, really high quality pictures coming in for my Instagram account, for the website, for our story page, and really just to help with brand value. One of the little details that gets overlooked by most clothing brand owners when they're getting started is how difficult it actually is to keep up with content for social media. This is a problem that you'll very likely run into growing a clothing brand. And finding ambassadors, sending free clothing out to people who are genuinely interested in your clothing brand and already have a track record of really, really good pictures on social media, sending them a free t-shirt or a free hoodie and having them generate content for you in the early stages is something that is so incredibly valuable for you, because this frees up a lot of time for you as a clothing brand owner to work on other aspects of your business while you have high quality content coming in for you to publish on social media and for you to, post anywhere that you want, whether that's on your website, in your ads, whatever it is. And so that's the way that we go about using ambassadors for our clothing brand. It's basically just for content, just for brand value, and to have a reliable, never-ending stream of high-quality content. And obviously, once you grow your brand to a certain size, you'll have people that are customers tagging you in pictures that you can use as well. But this, once again, is a little bit more random because you really never know when a customer is going to tag you in a picture, and you also really never know how high quality that picture is going to be and whether it's actually shareable content or not. When you have ambassadors, this is reliable content that you can trust to come in, where you know that, if you get pictures from them, they're always going to be usable, and that's just so incredibly valuable. Now, don't get me wrong, you can also send this ambassador a custom promo code and have them try to make sales for you. But in my personal experience, most ambassadors who think that they're going to be able to sell a lot of clothing for you usually struggle to do that, and it's really not their strong suit. So when we're going about selecting an ambassador for our clothing brand, it's usually based on the quality of their pictures and their ability to take high quality photos and create high quality content online, because that's the main purpose of the partnership with them. And really the big incentive that they have to keep up with high quality content and to keep sending you pictures is that you're going to keep sending them a free t-shirt or a free hoodie every time you do a drop for your clothing brand, every time you launch something. And this is why your ambassadors have to truly be fans of your clothing brand. They have to truly like your clothing brand, because that incentive is only there if they actually want your new clothing when you release new clothing for your clothing brand, right? If you have a clothing brand that the ambassador really doesn't want to wear and the transaction is basically only for free clothing, then there's really no incentive there at the end of the day for them to be taking pictures all the time and keeping up with the content. It's really the same thing with celebrities and influencers that we're sending free clothing to. It's really not our big purpose at the end of the day to get a whole lot of reach and to make a whole lot of sales just from those celebrities and influencers posting and sharing our content for us. The goal at the end of the day is really in the hopes to receive a picture of them wearing it and to actually have them become true fans of the brand. When you get them as true fans of the brand, they're going to be wearing your clothing a lot, and that's just going to raise the value of your brand. That's really, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do with ambassadors, with celebrities and influencers, because the brand value that you'll be able to have having those ambassadors, having those celebrities and influencers will really put you on another level, and it will make it a lot easier for you to make sales. So let's talk practically about how we can use ambassadors inside of your clothing brand, especially if you're just first getting started, to really raise your brand's value and to get better results for your clothing brand. The way that I recommend you do this is by first making your own content on social media. So the very first content that you come out with on social media doesn't need to be from ambassadors, it doesn't need to be from anybody else, but it needs to come from you. The first year that I was running my clothing brand, I was going out there and I was taking my own pictures. I was going out with friends. I was creating the brand content, and I was basically creating the brand entirely on my own. While you do this, you're basically marketing your clothing brand on social media, and you should start to receive some people engaging with your content online. A lot of people liking your pictures every time you post, or maybe there's certain people that comment every time you post. And these people are the people that you want to look to in the beginning stages to engage with and to get as ambassadors, because these people have shown a very clear interest in your clothing brand, and you're not going to have to sell them on your brand. They've already shown an interest in your content, and ideally these people have already bought from you. Most of the ambassadors that I have for my clothing brand are very willing to buy from me for my own clothing brand and have already bought clothing from us before. And this is incredibly important because it establishes that relationship where it's real. The other people actually care, they're motivated, they're excited to be a part of your brand, and it's not this thing where it's just transactional and they're like, whatever, I don't really care about this, but I'll take some pictures so I can get some free clothing. You want them to have a passion for your brand and actually be a part of the niche that your brand stands for. Once you've located who you want to use as an ambassador for your clothing brand, then I'd reach out to them basically in the exact same way that I reach out to celebrities and influencers, which is basically, hey, we really like your posts on Instagram. We really like your content. We'd love to send you a free t-shirt, a free hoodie, in exchange for some pictures of you wearing it. And if you can keep up with the pictures, you know, the better the content, we'll be more inclined to send you a free t-shirt or a free hoodie the next time we come out with more products. Usually when you send a message to somebody who's already bought from you before and has tagged you in amazing pictures, or they've liked a lot of your content and they've clearly shown an interest, when you send them a message like that, usually their response is super excited, they're super down, and they just want to be on board. And that's the type of relationship that I believe you should have with an ambassador. And I hear a lot of clothing brand owners complaining, you know, fairly enough, that they get onto ambassadors and then they don't get any pictures from them, or they're ghosted and they never hear from them again. And I think that that's a case of trying to find ambassadors who just, it's not a two-way street, it's just you trying to give to them and they don't really care about your brand at the end of the day. And that's the type of relationship that you want to avoid when it comes to finding ambassadors, and honestly when it comes to finding celebrities and influencers. You want them to be excited and you want them to be passionate about your brand. So I want to summarize this really quick for you. I realize that this video is a bit all over the place here. Number one, the real reason why we use ambassadors for our clothing brand is to just have that stream of high quality content coming in that we can share on our Instagram account, that we can share on our website, in our ads, and that we have full control over. The reason for that is because the content that you're getting from the ambassador is saving you time, and it's also increasing your brand's value. And the increase in brand's value at the end of the day is what's going to allow you to sell. So you sending an ambassador a free t-shirt is really, really, truly going to be worth it like crazy when it comes to the return on that little investment of sending them a free t-shirt or a free hoodie. The next thing is when it comes to actually reaching out to ambassadors, reach out to them in the same way that you reach out to a celebrity or influencer, but try to find your ambassadors from the pool of people who have already shown interest in your clothing brand, people who have already engaged with your content on social media. And ideally, you want to pick your ambassadors from people who have already actually spent their own money on your clothing brand. That way the relationship will be established correctly. You won't have to worry about them ghosting you, and you'll know that they have that deep passion for your clothing brand. If you got a lot of value out of this video, hit the like button for me and let me know what you think in the comments below. You can drop your brand down there as well. I like to check out the brands that are watching. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for apparel success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.